Hey, Colabcoach here to get to share some wise words of wisdom for the week. So, as I said, we're gonna do Facebook Lives at least once a week. Have a special guest each and every time, and we're gonna talk about different topics about issues or situations that we have gone through in our particular lives as far as relationships wise. And with my guest, we're going to talk about specific things that he has gone through. So this is Edmund. We're family. I've known him a good part of my life, and today we're going to talk about a topic that's near and dear to him. So just so you know who I am, I'm the Colab coach. I focus on relationships, but not only intimate relationships with your friends, families, neighbors, co-workers, and the most important relationship of all, with yourself. I am a coach. I focus on relationships, as I said, and just so you can get an understanding of what coaching is. So today we're going to talk about how to have a successful relationship while trying to build a business. So Emma's going to talk to me about things that he's come across as far as being a successful business person, trying to be successful in as far as the business realm, and also trying to keep a successful relationship. So, Edmund, tell me exactly some of the things that you've been through, some things that you experienced while being in the business and also trying to have a relationship at the same time.
All right. Well, first of all, my name is Edmund Apple. I don't usually do stuff like this, but I wanted to support my boy here and his business, his Colabcoaching business. But he wants to talk about business and relationships going together hand in hand. So, what was the question? What have I experienced?
What have you experienced as far as relationships and business? Where you're trying to build a business at the same time, but also you're trying to keep good relationships. It doesn't have to necessarily be intimate relationships, maybe relationships with your friends, family, so on and so forth. What are some things you experienced while trying to have a successful business and also have successful relationships around you?
Okay. The first thing that I've experienced with just business is one, time. Time management is huge with a significant other or just friends in general. I mean, you have to know one, who do you align with, right? And then two, where's your time being spent, right? Can you commit a certain amount of time to wherever you are? Three, another thing is, and I'm just going off the top of my head, three is it doesn't necessarily what I've heard from a mentor. It doesn't necessarily matter the amount of time you're actually spending with that person. What really matters is the being present in the moment when you're with the person. So that's really the thing. So one, aligning yourself with the right people. Two, the time management, and then three, when you do have the time management for whatever you blocked out the amount of time for, are you aligning yourself with the right people? And are you present with the right person? Are you present with that person? Or are you still checking on your phone to see where business is back there, or so on and so forth? So that's kind of like the first top three things that come to my mind when we're talking about business relationships, and whether it's friends or significant others. That's the first three things that come to my mind.
Okay, perfect. So has you ever experienced a situation where you have fallen short as far as trying to balance both, trying to work on a business and be in a relationship? If so, what effect did that have on you?
So I actually see, and this is a tough part. I mean, because I'm very personal. I'm very private with my life, but I'm actually going through that a lot now. No one tells you how to do business until you start going to seminars and workshops and stuff like that. Nobody tells you how to do business. So you're pretty much kind of winging it. And so you don't necessarily notice the amount of time you're spending away from other people, but they do, right? And then they start to say things like, oh, you've changed, or you're not the same person. And it's not necessarily that you've changed, or you have changed because you want better. But it's more so along the lines of that person doesn't want you to change for who you are in their life. And so then it begins to become a thing where it depends on what your values are, right? Like if your values are family, then it's like you become really conflicted on whether you should stay home. Should I stay home and do this? Am I not spending? So you start to become guilty, and you start. So it really becomes. But then what I want people to actually to start to begin to realize, and I had to start realizing this from one of my good friends, Josiah, is that the sacrifices you're making now for where you could be is huge. It's huge to think about, because short-term pleasure will not equal to long-term gratification. So you want short-term discipline to equal to long-term gratification, right? And so what you want to really consider is, how am I going to sacrifice? Why am I sacrificing, first of all, now to have a certain lifestyle in the future? And what does that lifestyle look like, right? And then have that person buy into your lifestyle, because they will be a part of that plan. And that's how you really keep that person to believe in you and to believe in what you're doing, and to really continue to support and achieve your dreams. And it just really depends on how important that person is to you when you're thinking about that stuff. And so what I like to do with my sacrificing now is, because here's the thing, people are going to, whether they nag or complain and stuff like that, if they're still in your life 5 years from now, they're going to enjoy the fruits of your labor anyway, right? My mom was pretty much like that, where I had gotten to a point where I had dropped, I didn't drop out from anything. I graduated college, but I wasn't producing. And she would nag me. And then when I got to a point where I could do stuff for her, she was the first one to enjoy. And so I say that to say, right now, the person in your life, whoever that person may be, really, attention driven right now, or they don't understand everything. But you have to have people buy into your vision. You have to have people support your dreams, and don't take it to heart when they don't, because the way that they love you is showing them. See, we're survival creatures, right? So the way that they're trying to show you that they love you is to try to keep you away from danger. Your body automatically is already thinking about the things that endanger you, and that's everybody else, right? And if everybody else feels that same way, then all they're going to see whenever you tell them something that may be dangerous for you is, oh, stay away from that, stay away from that, stay away. That doesn't mean they don't love you. That's just what the survival mechanism is telling them about whatever you're saying. And so what I found to be the best thing for us, though, is that most of our growth comes from being uncomfortable, right? And I believe that our mind is like a muscle, whatever the emotion may be. And so we have to continue to find the muscles to continue to work on those things, right? So like, if you're not used to being uncomfortable, you haven't built that muscle of uncomfortability, right? Mm-hmm. So it's hard for you to continue to do it. But if you're always uncomfortable, always going for something else, you've built a muscle that can withstand certain mentalities that come with going after certain things in life. And so not everybody is supposed to buy into your dream. Not everybody is supposed to be there with you on the journey, and that's fine. I mean, God didn't give them that vision. They gave it to you. And so all I know is that, at least continue to consider them as someone that loves you. One thing that I didn't do well in the beginning of my journey was that, I was like, forget everybody, like everybody's against me, like they don't understand, blah, blah, blah. But it's not meant for them to understand. It's meant for you to understand. And one thing my dad always said was that when you get to the top, just know that when you fall back down, you're going to have to see everybody that you stepped on. And so you never want to be in a position where you're just stepping on people to get to the top just because they don't believe in what exactly you're doing. I mean, I was listening to another podcast this morning, was that you're going to need a team to be able to do a lot of the things that you want to do. A lot of people on Instagram right now telling you they're solopreneurs, I'm a business owner, but it's only one of them, right? And so if it's only one of you, how are you really a business? You just went from being an employee to being self-employed. Every great person, everybody that's done something great has always had a team of people around them, whether that team of people were directly involved or they just supported. And so you're going to need a team regardless, right? Martin Luther King had people around him. Oprah had people around her. Bill Gates, right? He has people around him. All the people that you look up to, all the people that have done something great in this world has had a team around them. And so you're always going to be looking towards how do I continue to keep people in my life? That's why it's so important. Even if they don't necessarily understand everything, get them to buy into your dream and your goals.
Okay, I mean, you said a lot, just to,
Yeah,
I know.
I told you I just go off the top,
So,
and I can just say a lot.
So just to unpack some of the stuff you said, you said you focused on, you did have some shortcomings when you were trying to balance, working on your business and at the same time working on relationships around you. You gave an example about your mother, and you gave an example about, certain friendships that you felt like you wanted to give attention to, but you felt guilty because you felt like you could do other things at the same time. Mm-hmm. So my question to you is that, do you personally believe there's a work-life balance? Because it looks like from what you're kind of saying is like, there's going to be sacrifices no matter what. So do you personally feel like there is a such thing as a work-life balance, especially as far as like building a business and also having a relationship or have relationships around you?
That's a great question. Do I believe that there's a work-life balance? I'm going to say no. And the reason I say no to this is because I feel like everybody that's done something, it really depends on what you're trying to do. Not everybody wants to be rich. Not everybody wants to go around the world and travel, right? Mm-hmm. But if we're going to say the majority of people want to go after something great, right? I feel like everybody that has been great at certain things are uncompromisable to the work-life balance scenario, right? Mm-hmm. There are other, like when you're trying to be great, there's no in between.
Right.
There's no real balance. It's just like going all in. And like, is that a problem for some people? Yes, because they don't want that, right? If they don't want that and you want that, then it becomes a problem. But if you're one of those people that I believe that my life was set up for greatness, et cetera, I'm supposed to do something big, impact the whole world, then I don't believe in the work-life balance thing. Like, I believe your work is your life. As cliche and corny as it sounds, your work is your life. Like, if you're not doing things that intertwine with who you are as a person, and you're separating it, you're bringing two different personalities to your life, and that's not fair to the people that deserve to deserve all of you. The people that deserve all of you and the people you're supposed to be impacting, if you're bringing two different types of people to each scenario, I mean, are you really giving all of yourself to the world? So that's something to think about.
That's interesting. That's interesting layout you say, because a lot of us, especially like our parents, especially if you're younger, your parents, or generational, especially like even in school, we're taught that you're supposed to have work-life balance, you're supposed to work, and then you're supposed to have a family, you're supposed to juggle all of that at the same time, and that's all good on paper, but in reality that's not going to happen. So I definitely agree with you, and it's powerful what you said, because you should be able to collaborate, hence collab coach, but you should be able to collaborate your family and your work together, so where it's beneficial, because you could be using the principles you gain from business within growing your family, and you could be using the principles you gain from building relationships to grow your business. Yeah. And it should be intertwined into one. So I definitely agree with you.
Yes. So I wanted to include, definitely don't leave your significant other out. Find ways to get them involved in the dream, right? Like one thing with building a business is the people that work under you have dreams and goals too. And so when you're building a business, and I believe marriage and family is like a business at times, but if you have a big umbrella, you still have to find ways to let your significant other, your friends, their umbrella of what they want to achieve to fit under your umbrella. That's why you have to make sure your goals and your vision is so big at the same time. because it'll encompass theirs and where they can fit into the scenario. Because I believe if you just have someone that's not necessarily buying into your dream and they're not necessarily buying into theirs, that's when all this extra stuff starts, whether that's them cheating on you, whether that's them not being interested in the relationship, whether that's them wanting to separate, is because, you know, people get bored. People want challenge. We're survival people, so we're always looking for the next big thing. But if we start, you know, staying at home, just chilling, like, oh, this is all my life is meant to be, then it becomes, what can I do to get back in a mode where I'm excited about it? Yeah. And so people are creative enough to find ways to do certain things to do that. So
yeah, you're absolutely right. So I have one last question before we go, just to go a little bit deeper with you. My question is, what is one thing you've gained in your relationships that you can use towards your business, and what is one thing from your business you can use towards relationships that you learned, or have you? That's it.
What is one thing that I've used?
What's one thing you learned throughout creating relationships, having relationships in your life, that you can use towards business, and then vice versa? What is one thing you've learned through creating a business and letting a business grow that you could use in your personal relationships?
Okay. I'm going to say, I could say a lot of things, right? But first, you got to make a decision. You got to make a decision to commit to whatever that thing is for you. Mm-hmm. And then it becomes, I think life can be set up in two different ways. Jim Rohn said this, and he said this well. Life either becomes the pain of discipline or the pain of regret, right? And so the thing that I think he meant by that is that if you is one of two things. When you're doing something, you're either going to be disciplined enough to follow through and reap the long-term benefits of it, or you're going to say, you know what, never mind, I'm not going to do that anymore, or I'm not going to do that right now, and continue to make the decision not to follow through, and you're going to end up regretting it as you become a certain type of person that you didn't see yourself becoming. Right. That's the same in your relationships and the people you talk to and stuff like that. So.
Okay, very powerful. So, as I said, we're not going to keep this too long. If you don't know who I am the Colab Coach. I focus on relationships, but not only intimate relationships with your friends, families, neighbors, co-workers, and the most important relationship of all, yourself. I do Facebook Live at least once a week. I'm going to have different guests every week. Follow me on Facebook at Colabcoaching. Follow me on Instagram at Colabcoaching. I'm also doing a special this month in January. I'm trying to get 5 new clients, 50% off your coaching session package that you choose from. 50% off for the coaching package that you choose from for January, the whole month in January. So contact me, message me, Facebook at Colabcoaching, Instagram at Colabcoaching. Thank you once again, Edmund, for joining. And until next time, have a wonderful day.